Well, hello, and welcome back to the backlog, and welcome to the lore reading episode. As promised, we're going through, and we're going to read all of the lore that we didn't have time for in the last episode. But then I just noticed this sitting over here, and I don't know if I've listened to it already, so let's go.
This is Lynn Salvador, head of Bureau Security. I'm making a formal security order due to the incident in April, case number 21HQ593. Improper use of the jukebox altered item led to 2 fatalities. We believe a pair of agents used the jukebox to travel to the quarry threshold and engage in inappropriate workplace behavior. An expedition team found them decomposing at the formation's base a week later. At least we found out the jukebox doesn't bring corpses back when the song ends. I'm having the jukebox placed in a secure location in the executive sector. It should never have been accessible to low clearance staff in the first place. The new location's security and proximity to a high-traffic area will prevent misuse, while still allowing for expedition teams to access it when required. See me for any further details.
Oh, okay, there's a jukebox that kills people. All right, anyway, let's get into it. Oh, this is the jukebox that kills people. Oh, I gotcha. Not authorized. Hiss-charged. The Hiss-charged agents are examples of extreme physical deformation resulting from Hiss corruption. Hiss-charged display an unthinking fixation on any non-corrupted individuals in the area. Once within a specific proximity, they erupt into a burst of focused Hiss resonance, so dense that it acts as a physical force. The Hiss-charged is depleted of the Hiss corruption after this eruption. The host is left lifeless. This behavior may be an adaptive response to the HRAs. The Hiss-charged are designed to blow the devices off potential hosts, exposing them to the resonance. Is the Hiss capable of customizing a corrupted host's altered ability to this degree? Why is the physiology of the Hiss-charged so dramatically different from the host's original form? Lots of questions, no answers. Refer to file redacted for full report. Hiss clusters are unique in that they are concentrated manifestations of Hiss resonance without the need of a host. Hiss clusters are dense spherical compressions of Hiss resonance that serve support functions in the hierarchy of Hiss entities. The clusters are capable of replenishing Hiss hosts with infusions of resonance. This does not heal any physical damage inflicted on the organic host, but rather seems to rejuvenate them, allowing them to endure more bodily harm than normally possible. The fact that the Hiss makes an effort to preserve its corrupted hosts underlies a level of awareness and discretion that was previously just speculation on my part. Can this entity be considered an individual, or simply an extension of the Hiss as a whole? Capturing one alive would be quite interesting. Refer to file redacted for full report. Hiss Sniper. Bureau snipers specialize in eliminating threats from a distance, using the telltale searchlights fixed to their rifles to search for targets. Hiss snipers are no less lethal. The corruption has not changed their tactics. They clearly prefer to maintain a good distance from their target, waiting in elevated positions for a clear shot. Care should be taken in open spaces. Check the balconies. I should note that their rifles are equipped with a bayonet for close quarters combat, and the Hiss snipers are well aware of how to use it. Refer to file redacted for full report. Troopers are meant to be the first agents to enter unknown AWEs, thresholds, or any other paranaturally hazardous situation. They are heavily armored and heavily armed in preparation for the worst. As a result of their role, Hiss troopers have access to the heaviest armor and weaponry from the Bureau's armory, including military-grade chain guns and grenade launchers. In addition to their already formidable FBC-issued armor, the Hiss resonance surrounding these entities is dense enough to stop bullets. If forced to engage one of these, be sure to make use of any available cover. Also note that the telekinetically talented enemy grenades can be a welcome source of ammunition. Refer to file redacted for full report. Hiswarped. The Hiswarped wield only paranatural abilities, similar to drifters. They are able to telekinetically shield themselves with nearby material and launch objects at their target. These entities are particularly destructive and difficult to kill, possibly indicating a greater internal reinforcement of Hiss resonance. Why do certain Hiss display paranatural abilities while others rely on Bureau firearms? Do certain corrupted entities have less potential than the hosts that become Hiswarped? Or is this perhaps an indication of evolution or maturation of the Hiss corruption? Are there other stages of evolution yet to be found? What if the Hiss inhabits a host for a month, a year? Do hosts expire after a certain amount of time? Does the corruption become too strong for an organic body to endure? Only time and well-documented observation will tell. Refer to File Redacted for full report. Astronauts information. Summary. This report serves as an introductory guide to the astronaut program, including candidate requirements, training practices, and astral research procedures. Astronauts are chosen individuals who explore and document the astral plane by making physical contact with the X-ray light box. See case file OOP-18 for details. In the Hypnosis Lab, a section of the Paraphysiology Division, physical and psychological training is vital for the repeated transition between planes known as dives. After each dive, astronauts must undergo a redacted session in the cognitive recording chairs to record their experience in the plane. Gathered data has conclusively proven that redacted within the astral plane may vary widely between astronauts. On rare occasions, these dives can result in losses, often occurring when teams encounter aggressive astral entities. Refer to File 8-29-1838 for full report. Recording chair procedures. Before using the recording devices, please ensure the following safety measures are met. 1. Ensure the volunteer is securely fastened in their chair. 2. Ensure the hood is placed over the volunteer's head. This will prevent the volunteer from taking in visual stimuli during the recording process, which can lower the quality of captured footage. This also prevents recording technicians from viewing the volunteer's face, which undergoes muscle spasms during recording that some consider upsetting. 3. Check if the volunteer is comfortable. 4. Activate the recording apparatus. 5. After recording is complete, check volunteer cognitive ability using the provided questionnaire. Reminder, do not be alarmed if the length of recorded footage exceeds the volunteer's period of unconsciousness. Astral dilation is a known issue. If any problems arise during this process, contact your supervisor. The Astral Exhibition was originally built for the astronauts to use as a training location, a place to grow accustomed to the sights and sounds of the astral plane before diving into the real thing. We could have done a better job with it, but Redacted was being stingy with the budget. However, once we discovered the Redacted, we decided to repurpose the space. Similar to how zoos hope familiar surroundings will affect the well-being of their animals, we hope to observe the Redacted behavior in an environment similar to its home dimension. So far, it just breaks everything we put in it. But Rome wasn't built in a day. Refer to File 3-19-3811 for full report. Addendum. New naming conventions have been established for the astral entity now known as Astral Spike. Outdated terms in this report have been redacted. Astral Plane. Summary. The Bureau has spent years studying why objects of power transport users to the astral plane when touched. My predecessor, Dr. Ash, theorized that a potential receptacle determined by Jungian archetypes and the collective subconscious would be inhabited by paranatural energies when an AWE occurred in its vicinity, creating an altered item. Over time, a link was created by the Redacted and the astral plane to that item, making it an object of power. So many additional theories have been raised since Dr. Ash's time. Objects of power were placed on Earth as tests by some astral entity. Our dimension was once part of the astral plane, and the objects were left behind as its borders receded. The astral plane was an early threshold into the oldest house, but the connection was severed, and now the two are linked solely through the objects of power. I will attempt to disprove some of these in order to thin the herd. Hopefully the truth will emerge. Refer to File 6-32-6498 for full report. Astral Plane Counter-Essay. Dr. Darling is insistent that certain objects of power share a direct connection to the redacted, an entity or group of entities that we have little information on, or little that I'm not allowed to access. In his written reports, he states that there is a clear link between these objects of power, the redacted, the astral plane, and the oldest house itself. His work supposes these links are innate, a fact ingrained into the very redacted of objects such as the hotline or the service weapon. But what if these particular objects were never linked to the redacted, but had that connection forced upon them? Isn't it strange that no other objects of power require such direct contact with the redacted? Isn't it strange that using the service weapon or the hotline will result in grievous harm or even death if the user's not the director, or at least worthy of the role? Why do we assume this involvement by the redacted is a natural fact and not something more redacted? Refer to file 6-23-9382 for full report. Blackrock Prisms. Blackrock prisms are unique formations of black rock, distinct in both their shape and potency. While the density of black rock dampens paranatural forces, the unique redacted structure of prisms retain frequencies in the range redacted to redacted hertz, with perfect redacted harmonization. This report analyzes the results of focusing a redacted through a harmonized prism onto a redacted. Methods for the imprinting of non-physical fields into redacted, imbuing them with the properties of the harmonized resonance redacted in the prism, will be explored and explained. Refer to file redacted for full report. Groupthink. This study extends the works of Irving Janis, Robert Barron, and others by proposing strong causal links between groupthink and the passive or active use of telepathy. To prove these connections, the Paraphysiology Department carried out variations of Solomon Asch's original conformity experiments, using a telepathic individual as the subject. See experiment redacted for details. Extensive qualitative and quantitative data resulting from these experiments was then used to identify telepathic inference within the group. Further empirical findings suggest measures can be taken to safeguard against telepathic influence on behaviors by engaging in redacted. Rather boldly, this paper stands to revolutionize decades of groupthink theory and provide new directions for further experimentation on the mind, including manipulation of redacted and redacted. Refer to file 3-18-2849 for full report. Home safe tests. The safe object of power can produce a barrier using objects or material from its immediate vicinity. See OOP-22 case file for more details. Bureau Rangers were given permission to employ heavy weaponry against a para-utilitarian bound to this object in order to gauge the barrier's durability. Redacted and redacted velocity ammunition were tested with redacted results. Testing will continue after redacted. The safe object of power is clearly a viable candidate for use in combat response scenarios. Allowing para-utilitarians to participate in altered engagements would be an advantage worth considering. Refer to file 8-53-8367 for full report. Resonance. It's there, but we can't see it. It vibrates around us, through us, from us. But what if the vibration is conscious? What could a force like that do? Redacted opened the door to a redacted I've called redacted. The redacted emits a force that is far beyond the forces we've previously dealt with. It's shown me so much that I have to wonder, is resonance the key element in all altered phenomena? AWEs, altered items, objects of power, do they share a common redacted that we've yet to discover? We can harmonize control points. But what else would the correct frequency allow us to achieve? What if resonance has been the answer this whole time? Refer to file redacted for full report. Song Questionnaire. Auditory Experience 84.C. Poets of the Fall. My Dark Disquiet. Answer questions within 2 minutes of listening. 1. Did the song elicit any particular memories? If so, elaborate. 2. Did you at any point feel a strong emotion? If so, what emotion? 3. Did a clear image of a weapon appear at your mind during the song? If so, elaborate. 4. Provide a detailed description of your current surroundings as you see them. 5. Have you ever heard the murmur of voices when no one is present? If so, what did they say? Do you hear them now? 6. Please choose one from each of the following pairs. 6A, 1 or 2. 6B, A or B. 6C, day or night. 6D, apple or orange. 6E, burn out or fade away. Synchronicity. Synchronicity is a phenomenon long recognized by the wise, but only recently given a name by science. It's how we rationalize events connected by no identifiable causality, yet clearly conjoined in purpose. How does a dream foretell an event in the physical plane? Why do hounds bail at the death of their master, which has occurred miles away? The world is unified in ways we do not yet understand, and sometimes we stumble across these invisible, unseen chords and wonder at the result. The visionary Carl Jung laid the road. Now we must walk it. My fledgling research department will make it our mission to reliably reproduce redacted behavior by the close of 1959. Once done, the mechanics of synchronicity will lay themselves bare in due time. We're striding into the future of science. History may not remember our names, but God himself will. Refer to file redacted for full report. Synchronicity experiment. As a test, television sets were placed in a variety of locations around the world inside rooms identically decorated. The hypothesis was that by identically altering the decor of every room and then changing the channel in every room but one, that the single differing television would spontaneously align the incoming frequency to match its synchronized counterparts. The experiment seemed like a failure until it was observed that the agents responsible for arranging and monitoring these rooms were all experiencing the same emotional turmoil as one clinically depressed member of the team, himself being located in the eastern part of Redacted. Physiological examination of the agents proved the correlation. Interestingly, the phenomena of synchronicity did occur, but not in the way we predicted. Refer to file 1.87.3452 for full report. Threshold utility. Thresholds have always been sources of great inspiration and great challenge. When a new threshold manifests in the oldest house by Redacted, we never know what new discoveries it will provide to the Bureau. But we must always seize these opportunities. This report will examine the process of distinguishing recent threshold effects based on their utilitarian possibilities. The quarry brought Blackrock, one of our most invaluable discoveries. But if the mold has any scientific value, it's been difficult to find due to the lengths we must go in fighting back the particularly prolific plant. These are very distinct cases and worth comparing, as their study offers vastly different dangers and rewards. Refer to file 5-84-1284 for full report. Case files. Emergency call summary. Event summary. A possible AWE in which an unnamed individual experienced transcorporeality via a phone line. Event is notably similar to AWE-Redacted, in which Redacted. Event response. Event is believed to have been caused by Redacted. As a result, the following measures have been taken to prevent Redacted. Emergency call supplement. Details. Transcript of a call to the California State Emergency Services. Dispatcher. 911, what's your emergency? Voice. Hello, I'm here. Can you hear me? Dispatcher. I can hear you, ma'am. Where are you? I'm inside the wires. I'm lost. Ma'am, have you been drinking tonight? I feel like I'm stretching through the wires towards you. Don't hang up. I might go if you hang up. Go where, ma'am? Go. Gone. Away. Okay, can you describe your surroundings? Unknown noise. Ma'am? Hello? Ma'am? Dispatcher attempted to call the number back, but it was no longer in service. Darling. Budget request. Dear Dr. Darling, I suspect my colleague Dr. Harrington has already contacted you asking for an increase in her department's budget. I'm not surprised. Parapsychology has always been the squeaky wheel, all fuss but no results. Parakinesiology has always been the stronger department. More breakthroughs, more tangible data, more usable research. I'm sure a man of your esteem can plainly see which department is more deserving of the budget increase. Just think what those additional resources could do for an already formidable research team. Anyway, I know you're a fan of single malt, so I left a bottle of well-aged brown on your desk. Yours in admiration, Dr. Abraham Lewis. Little bit of bribery going on? Yep. Hubert, Blackrock Analysis. Hi, Carla. Does it strike you as odd that Darling insists on having us appear in those bizarre videos of his? I mean, we just stand there. He doesn't even let us have lines or anything. Don't get me wrong, beats a day in the lab. Plus, it's always great to work with you. Oh, yeah, I finished the comparative analysis of the 2 Blackrock samples you sent. The Prism, or whatever you call it, I filed them in the usual place, under C for Carla. A handy mnemonic device, right? Anyway, let me know if there's anything you want to discuss about the data. I'll gladly explain. Maybe we could chat about it over some drinks, or dinner even. I can't remember the last time I had a good steak. Maybe we could go together after work sometime. I'm free tomorrow. All the very best, Hubert. Oh, Hubert. Oh, Hubert. Oh, Hubert. Precognitive powers. Nadine, send this to research for analysis. My precognitive powers. Urgent. Dr. Darling, last night I had a dream. In the dream, I was given the solution to a staffing problem I'd been presented with just yesterday. The problem is of a confidential nature and must therefore remain unclarified here, but I can assure you that the method through which I received this helpful information was undeniably paranatural. I can only draw the conclusion that I possess exceptional precognitive abilities and, as such, offer my services to the Bureau's research teams. We must utilize my powers for the greater good. Signed, Mr. Francis Bertram. Let's see here. Clog complaint. That gross blockage down in the water systems is back. What is it? Where does it keep coming from? And why does Adi keep yelling nonsense at it? He acts like it can understand him. Of course he acts like it can understand him. Like we can understand him too. Guess it's just his brand of crazy. I'm going to try out a new drain cleaner. Extreme strength. Plant complaint. Hey, so I was just wondering about the plants in research. Is it really necessary to sing to them? I mean, that janitor does have a nice voice, and the plants sure seem to like it. Maybe he could just switch it up a bit. I'm getting pretty tired of the tango. And where did the plants come from? No one seems to remember when they were planted. And people like them a bit too much, if you ask me. Are we being invaded by houseplants? Worth looking into. Dr. Lewis. Upcoming game reminder. Next game is Wednesday at 8, usual spot. Hazard owes me $20. Arish still on a winning streak. Someone please figure out how he's cheating. Thompson suspended for a game because of that shady dealing incident. Guy, I owe you $60. I brought beers last time, so it's Hepstontal's turn. Remus. Hotline.
Northmoor was director before me. I never wanted his job. I never wanted power. I purposefully avoided it, didn't trust it, didn't want to rely on it. Northmoor was all about power. A man like an explosion, hungry for authority, for order, for more, until it was too much. I had to find a solution in the end, contain the situation. Northmoor never liked me, but he went along with it, to his credit. He didn't really have a choice. I suppose at the end of the day, a director's most basic duty is to keep the lights on. Here's to you, Northmoor. There were no prime candidates waiting in the wings, but I was there. Had been the whole time, keeping my head down, working my ass off. I had nothing to lose. I picked up the gun almost on a dare.
Well, that was quite the mistake. Let's see here. We got a couple of more.
So much is expected from the director. The responsibility, the privilege to steer the Bureau into dangerous waters and safely out again. To inspire and lead its people, to protect them. The board is there to advise you, but they want things in return. You hold all this in your old, trembling hands. I had to lose everything before I could see the Bureau is the director's life. There's no room for anything else. If the forces contained here escaped, we'd be dragged back into an age of superstition, terror, death. Assuming you think we ever really left that behind. Any emergency, any major containment breach, and the lockdown goes into effect. I implemented this security measure in my first years as director. I knew we were vulnerable. I'd personally seen the cost of sloppiness. I made sure the internal lockdown could only be lifted by a directorial override, only to be used when the director is confident the sectors are safe to be opened again. This way, the director is the last line of defense. And if I screw up, it's on me, and me alone.
Objects of power are holders 665. To the other blessing. We hold the reins of law. We are failing in translating hyperreal concepts. Secrets instructions will be lost. Ignore this message. The Hiss spread is searching for transmission speakers to corrupt chaos. The astral plane is a conflict switchboard. The Hiss will come for us all. We must stop. Shut then.
And then I think we've already seen all of these. Let's just check.
An early hypothesis was that the mindscape of the astral...
Yeah, okay. These we've all actually seen already or listened to. Except for this one. I think that one is copyrighted. So we'll not listen to it now. Thank you all for watching. This has been fun. This has been good. We will do this again next week as we grab all of the wonderful lore from around here. I'll leave you with this board. There's an acoustic guitar for sale. Anyway, yes. I'll see you again on Monday.